Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday. Thanks for joining me for my Countdown to Christmas series. Today we're working on day 12. And we're going to be using some Paper Smooches dies. Now, I've had the gingerbread house from Paper Smooches for a long time. I wanted to create a card last year. Did get a chance, so I thought we'd do it this year. And now when I went to go do my linking, I couldn't find this little guy anywhere. I did end up finding him at the Paper Smooches shop. And I'll link that down below in case you guys want to check it out. But it is a cute little gingerbread. I don't know about you guys, but I love gingerbread houses. And I also picked up the sentiment die that said "You Rock." I thought that's very versatile. Just great to have in your stash because you could use it for so many things. And usually, being a business owner, I get quite a few gifts, and so I always like to have thank you cards on hand, and so I thought this little sweet gingerbread card would be perfect with a sentiment that says "You Rock." And so we're going to combine both of these today. So we're doing some die cutting. I'm using neenah 80-pound cardstock to die cut out the gingerbread and then the gingerbread house. And then also in this little die set, there's some details that you can die cut out for the gingerbread. The frosting that you put on the gingerbread, I die cut that out with white cardstock along with the "You Rock." So everything is die cut, and I die cut out the sentiment 3 times. We're going to do a little bit of layering. Easy to do, and I love the way this looks. If you don't want to spend the time layering, you could use fun foam. I think that would work the same. But after they're all layered together, I think that looks spectacular. I love the little swirls in it. I just think it's so fun. Okay, let's build a gingerbread man. So I punched out his little happy face, and then I'm going to we're going to crispy him up a little bit with some vintage photo distress oxide ink, just going around the edges, and then we'll glue this little guy on the white gingerbread that we die cut out. The white one, I just removed the facial features and then die cut out the gingerbread portion. So we just layer them both together, and then the white stands out for his facial features. Now we're going to go ahead and glue down his little icing details. And there's 4 of them, so you get 2 for the hands or the arms, and then 2 for the legs. And he is so cute. Now, and actually, on the die, I left the little itty bitty gumdrop connected to the gingerbread house. I didn't want to lose it, but that little gingerbread, that little gumdrop is meant to go on the gingerbread as buttons. How cute is that? I'm going to use some gems instead of those today, but I wanted to let you guys know that there is a tiny little gumdrop. Now for the house, I'm going to add a little bit of vintage photo around my craft colored house. I die cut out one with white cardstock and one with the neenah 80-pound craft cardstock, and we're going to kind of mix and match. I'm going to go ahead and add detail to my little window, the white window, and I was going to glue the inside pieces to my window, and I thought, you know what, a foam square would fit perfectly behind there, and then all I'd have to do is remove the release paper, and so it's tacky. So when I fill in each one of the little window panes, all I have to do is use my jewel picker and then adhere them to the foam square. Makes it a lot easier. I am going to add a little bit of color to each one of those little window panes using one of my yellow pencils. The pencils that I'm using are actually watercolor pencils from Fun Stamper's Journey. They're called Color Splash, but they work great as regular colored pencils also. We're going to go ahead and I did find my tweezers. I know I mentioned a while back I couldn't find my tweezers, but of course as soon as I buy new ones, I find the old ones. Well, my girls brought them down to me and said, "Here, we found your tweezers." I guess my daughter was trying to use those to pluck her eyebrows. Oh my goodness. But she probably figured it didn't work out too well, so she brought them back. Okay, now we're going to color in our gumdrops on the rooftop here, and I'm going to use some bright colors. We're going to use reds, greens, pinks, and blues. And we're coloring those 4 colors on one side, and then we'll repeat it on the other side. And I'm sorry about my camera. For some reason, it's very it's not showing the true color. It's very whitewashed. I don't know how to explain it. I tried closing my blinds, but it still didn't work. I think I have to figure out how to fix that. But anyway, I'm rambling. I went ahead and adhered the craft outline to my gingerbread house. And then I went garbage digging. Originally, I threw away my window, my craft window, and I decided to bring it back. And we're going to go ahead and layer that craft window. Here's where I throw it away along with the door. But then I bring my trash bin back in, and we're going to reuse the little dot for the door. I painted the door with my green colored pencil, but there's a little doorknob that can be punched out. I'm going to use the craft one and adhere that to the white door that I painted green. And I just layered it on top and it fits perfectly, and I like that a little bit better. Now for the craft colored rooftop, I wanted to create a candy cane effect. So I'm taking my red pencil and I'm adding diagonal lines. It's a very thin strip, so it was super easy to do, guys. But I'm just adding diagonal lines along this little rooftop piece, just creating a little candy cane look, and I think that looks lovely. I'm going to go ahead and glue that back in its home. So far we have two layers, the white layer and then also the craft layer. The pieces can be punched out still, so to keep those in, here's where I went garbage digging for my my craft window. We're going to do the same thing, add some diagonal stripe details. But to keep all of my elements in place, I just flipped it over and added foam tape behind the entire background. That secures everything together. You could actually do that with a piece of white cardstock, but I thought the foam tape would be just as well. Okay, we're going to do a little bit more die cutting. I'm going to die cut out some snowflakes with white cardstock, and then I wanted a hillside in the background, so I thought this cloud border die would be a fun hillside. I'm going to die cut out some of that with white cardstock, and then I'm going to bring in these frame dies. Now, I went to go find my linking for the frame dies, and I can't find them nowhere. They may have been discontinued, but if you have some rounded corner rectangle dies, you can layer two together to create an oval frame, the same effect. Okay, once everything's die cut, I'll take the inside piece of my rounded corner rectangle frame, and we're going to color that with some Distress Oxide ink. This is spun sugar. It's a real pale pink, but I think it goes perfect with gingerbread houses. Love this color. Now, if you don't have this color, you could use a pale pink cardstock. I think it would work the same, because I'm not going to add any water droplets to this. I'm just going to keep it at that chalky finish. Okay, we're going to add our little hillside on the bottom, but I wanted the same curve as my background panel. So I just used my frame die and ran my cloud border piece through my die cutting machine. So everything is nice and even and it'll fit together like a puzzle. Now I'm going to arrange my sentiment on the top area. And then I did want to put some snowflakes behind my sentiment and also behind the cloudy border on the bottom. So I'm just playing around with the placement, and I thought we would need just a little extra red in our background. So I'm going to bring in a 6x6 paper pad from Doodlebug. This is the Milk and Cookies paper pad, and it is a fun paper pad. I wanted to use the red and white stripe paper here. I just used a scrap piece, a thin strip, and I think if we add that to the very bottom, kind of breaking up all that white, it's going to look great. We'll just glue that down and then trim off the excess. And then we'll go ahead and tape this down to an A2 size card base. And then we'll add our frame. The frame I popped up, and also the cloudy border on the bottom I popped up with foam adhesive. So when I put my frame around it, the cloudy border on the bottom is the same level as my frame, but the pink is recessed behind it. So I think it looks real fun. My snowflakes were overhanging, so I'm just trimming those off. And I think that looks great. Okay, now I thought we'd bring in the corner rounder. So using the 1/2 inch side, I just corner rounded my entire card base, the top and the bottom. And I think that looked like a fun way to just finish off the card. Kind of goes with the gumdrops, I think. I'm going to add my house a little bit wonky, and then we'll add our little gingerbread. And I think it looks so fun. And I have a few extra snowflakes, so I'm going to go ahead and add one on the gingerbread house. I think it's going to pop against that craft cardstock. And then I'm also going to take another one and we'll trim it in half. And I want that to be just above the frame area there. Just use a little bit of glue to adhere that, kind of filling in that open area. And I think that looks fine. Now we'll set these aside, and then we're going to add our bells and whistles. For bells and whistles, I'm going to bring in some gems. These are from Pretty Pink Posh, and I think they're called Pink Blush. I'm going to add 3 to the gingerbread man as buttons, and then also some to the center of each one of my snowflakes. And then after we have these adhered, we're going to go ahead and sparkle up our sentiment, and then our gumdrops in our door and window with some Nuvo glitter drops in White Blizzard. And then that is my card for today, guys. Nice and sparkly and sugary. Here's some close-ups. Now, I did leave the cleaning in for my countdown to Christmas. It's after this picture here. But I want to thank you so much for joining me. Have a fantastic day. And if I don't see you by Thanksgiving, I wish you a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. And I want to mention, too, that I am so thankful for all of you guys. I love hearing your comments. You don't know how inspiring and how wonderful they are. I can't respond to all of you guys' comments, only because I tried it one time and it took me like 4 hours. It was so much, because you have to count in the Instagram comments, and then you count in the Facebook comments, and just all social media comments. It's a little bit overwhelming for me, but I do read every one of them, and I appreciate all of your comments so much. I love creating, and I'm so happy that you all can create with me. I wanted to also say, if you guys want to see close-up pictures, you can visit my blog. The links for my blog and all the social media sites are down below in the description area as well. If I skip anything and linking to the products that I use, please let me know. I'll try my best to find them and link them if I forget to put them down there. That's that little Post-it note that I'm writing on right now. That is actually letting me know what to link. And so I don't forget, but sometimes I do. But anyway, I'm jabbering on. I just want to say thank you again for all your wonderful comments, and I wish you a lovely Thanksgiving holiday. We will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.